Hello everyone, Justin here and welcome to 4am Art. In this video we're going to be drawing this goldfish using a pencil, including a white pencil, and we'll be using this tone gray paper which will give us the medium tones values. We'll try to keep this simple with using a couple pencils as well as of course that white pencil. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'll first start with marking in the basic shapes. Sometimes, as you've seen in other videos, I just go from point to point and just draw from there. But other times like this, I'll go ahead and put in the basic shapes first. And that way you can determine the proportions immediately, and then you can go into detail. So here I'm just using a regular 2B leaded mechanical pencil just to start putting in the details. And remember that you could always make the lines darker, and that's what I'll do. I will start putting in some of the detail and some of the tones. I'll be using different techniques. I'm not going to use purely crosshatch technique and really super regular lines or whatever, but I will use whatever I want. Now it all depends too on the particular effect that I'm trying to go for. So as I go ahead and do this, as you can see, I'm just going more or less from left to right, not adding too much detail yet. And I often like, as far as putting in the shading, I'll put in the basic shapes as well of the shading, like right here, the lower right part of the body. It's quite a rounded body, so you can see I put in a shadow line that kind of parallels the lower right outline of the body. And then using that as my guide, I go ahead and start putting in my hatch lines. Constantly look at your particular reference picture, and remember, you don't have to make it exact as your reference. If you're trying to make it exact, I mean, that's always a good skill to have, but it's purely for your own benefit. No one will ever see your original reference and say that, wow, he was really off. No, and you can always change as well the detail or the shape, and you just don't worry about it as far as making it exact. If we wanted an exact copy, you could just take a picture of it and maybe use a copier and print it out. But this is a drawing. It's gonna look handmade. I'm using short strokes here. Now, it of course helps when you're drawing like long curves to use a continuous line initially. So if at all possible, try to avoid using short choppy lines when you're trying to draw a long curved line. Always try to use nice long movements, especially if you need to use your wrist or go from the elbow as far as moving your whole hand. And that'll often help to make your curves a little bit smoother. One other thing I wanted to mention is being able to draw any of these lines, curved or straight, at different angles without moving your paper around. So that really helps your mechanical skills, your movement of your fingers and your wrist to be able to go in different directions. Now, there are people who prefer to make these lines with only one motion of their hand or wrist, and what they do then to get different directions is to just turn the whole sheet around, which I think is a valid technique, but definitely try to do this from different directions without having to turn the paper around. So here I'm starting to outline the goldfish using a different pencil, by the way. For this particular pencil, I am using 4B lead, which is a very soft lead, and I can definitely get a lot darker tones with it versus my other pencil, which has 2B lead, I think. Now this is just a little bit more graphic style of drawing, and I really like it because to me it really makes it pop out a little bit more by emphasizing certain details within the drawing itself, but outlining it. There are times when I want a different style, and I will actually use a pen or a marker, like an ultrafine Sharpie, to do the outline. And like I said, it's just a different style, and I also like that particular style. So what I like to do is keep several mechanical pencils, but I reserve all my black colored mechanical pencils to hold only 4B lead. So whether my mechanical pencil is blue colored or silver, chrome, yellow, whatever, I'll know that all of those will have 2B lead, but my black mechanical pencils will have the soft 4B lead. So 4B lead is about the softest mechanical pencil lead that you can buy, I believe. I looked for 6B, but really, or softer, and really couldn't find those. But generally 4B is soft enough for what I need, and I can get pretty dark tones. If I really need even darker tones, I can take a regular 6B drawing pencil or 8B and get really dark tones. So I'll continue adding more detail, re-emphasizing the darker tones, the darker shadows, using this pencil. And notice that I just used extra cross-hatch lines for the scales. So at this point I switched to my white pencil. It's basically a colored pencil, and I'm using it to add the highlights. That's the beauty of using toned paper. The toned paper, the toned color gives us our middle values in general. So you put in the darker tones with your pencil, regular pencil, and you use the white to add the highlights, the lighter tones. And again, this gives it a really nice graphic quality. I really like using this colored, this toned paper. And if you haven't already, please try it. So that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. And if so, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Have a great day. See you next time.